How much can I safely spend in retirement? If there's one question almost everyone asks, it's this: how much can I safely spend in retirement? It sounds simple, but it's actually one of the hardest questions in retirement planning because there isn't one answer. It depends on longevity, market returns, inflation, spending flexibility, and how willing you are to adapt when life doesn't go exactly according to plan. Today, we're going to break that down and then show how spending really behaves inside a retirement plan. Welcome back to Reflections and Real Talk with Judy. In this series, we'll start with the bigger retirement planning question and reflect on how to think about them. Then we move into the Real Talk Lab, where we test those ideas inside Bolden and see what happens in real-world planning scenarios. My goal is to help you understand your options so you can make informed decisions with confidence. So let's start with a simple question. What does safe spending actually mean? When someone asks me how much they can spend, what they're really asking is, how do I avoid running out of money? That's a very different question. The challenge is that we're dealing with uncertainty. Market returns are uncertain, inflation is uncertain, longevity is uncertain. So safe doesn't mean guaranteed, it means adaptable. This is where the idea of max spending comes in. Max spending is essentially the highest level of spending your plan can support over time based on the assumptions in your plan. But most people don't naturally think that way. People think in terms of lifestyle. That's why I like to frame spending using two budgets: a must-spend budget and a like-to-spend budget. Your must-spend budget is what it takes to keep your life running: housing, food, utilities, insurance, healthcare, taxes, the essentials. I sometimes call this your keep the lights on mode or your rice and beans mode. It's not necessarily how you want to live forever. It's simply the minimum level needed to maintain your lifestyle. Then there's your like-to-spend budget. This is what life looks like when things are going well. Travel, dining out, hobbies, experiences, helping family, the fun stuff. I sometimes call this living lavishly. Now, to make this more concrete, I'll show you a sample must-spend and like-to-spend budget on the screen. Once you've created these two budgets, you've basically created spending guardrails. Instead of one spending number, you now have a range. You now have a floor and you have a ceiling, and that's a much more realistic way to think about retirement spending. One of the things I really appreciate about Bolden is there isn't just one way to think about spending. In fact, there are several complementary tools that can work together. The first is the detailed budgeting process we just discussed. I still think that's the foundation. Your must-spend budget tells you what it takes to keep life running. Your like-to-spend budget helps define your ideal retirement lifestyle. Together, these create a practical spending range. But Bolden also offers some additional tools that can help put those numbers into context. One of the newer features is the Spending Guardrails Insight, found under Insights and then Spending Guardrails. Bolden describes this as a way to estimate how much you can safely spend in retirement and relates that spending level to the probability of success of your plan. Bolden provides what it calls a safe spending target, which is intended to represent a balanced spending level based on the assumptions and simulations in your plan. For retirees, it can also provide upper and lower guardrails to help identify when spending may be too conservative or when it may need adjustment. I like to think of that safe spending target as a useful reference point. Then I compare it to my own must-spend and like-to-spend budgets. If my safe spending target falls somewhere inside that range, that's usually a good sign that my expectations and my plan are reasonably aligned. If it's outside that range, then I know I have something worth exploring. Another useful feature is max spending. I sometimes describe max spending as die with zero exploration tool, not because it's literally trying to leave you with $0, but because it helps answer a question many retirees have. If my goal is to maximize my lifestyle during retirement, how much could I potentially spend? According to Bolden, max spending allows you to see the impact of spending down your accounts toward your legacy goal or towards zero if you have not specified a legacy goal by your longevity age. That's an important distinction. Max spending is not attempting to spend your final dollar. If you've told Bolden you want to leave a legacy, that legacy amount is still being respected in the calculation. The goal is to spend down the portfolio while preserving whatever estate value you've identified as important to you. This is why I like to think of max spending as a planning boundary rather than a recommendation. It helps answer what's the highest sustainable lifestyle my plan might support while still honoring my legacy goals. For example, if my like to spend budget is $90,000 and max spending suggests the plan could support $110,000, that doesn't mean I should automatically spend $110,000. What it tells me is that I may have more flexibility than I originally thought. On the other hand, if my like to spend budget is higher than the max spending result, I may need to revisit my expectations, retirement timing, savings, or other assumptions. I find it especially helpful to look at 4 numbers together. First, my must spend budget, that's my floor. Second, my like to spend budget, that's my ideal lifestyle. Third, Bolden's safe spending target from the Spending Guardrails insight. That's my reality check based on the assumptions and simulations in my plan. And fourth, max spending. That's my upper boundary, the highest spending level the plan may be able to support while still satisfying the goals I've built into the plan, including any legacy goals. Looking at all 4 numbers together gives me a much richer picture than relying on a single retirement spending number. And that's one of the reasons I think Bolden is such a powerful planning tool. It doesn't force you into one spending methodology. Instead, it gives you several different perspectives that help you make informed decisions with confidence. One important distinction: if you're still working, these spending guardrails are mostly directional. They're helping you understand what future flexibility could look like. You're not necessarily adjusting your lifestyle dramatically today. You're simply learning how much flexibility your future retirement plan may have. Once you're retired, however, those guardrails become actionable. That's when you can compare your actual spending to your must-spend budget, your like-to-spend budget, your safe spending target, and your guardrails to determine whether you're spending below, within, or above the range your plan supports. Before we jump into Real Talk Lab, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever calculated your must-spend number? In other words, what would your keep the lights on budget look like if you had to simplify your spending? Let me know in the comments below. Now, let's move into Real Talk Lab and see what this looks like in Bolden. This is one of the reasons I like Bolden so much. It allows you to see the impact of decisions rather than simply guessing. Let's start in the expenses section. For this example, let's create 2 budgets. We'll start with our must-spend amount at $60,000 per year, and we'll set our like-to-spend amount at $90,000 per year. Just by doing that, we've created a spending floor and a spending ceiling. Now, let's navigate to Insights, Spending Guardrails. Here we can see Bolden's safe spending target, along with the guardrails that help indicate when spending may be too conservative or when adjustments might be appropriate. Notice how we're looking now at 3 different perspectives: our must-spend budget, our like-to-spend budget, and Bolden's safe spending target. Next, let's explore the max spending feature. I will enable the max spending option and see what the plan suggests if my objective is to maximize spending while still respecting the assumptions in the plan, including any legacy goals I may have entered. Notice that max spending isn't necessarily telling me what I should spend. It's showing me what's possible. I like to think of it as the die with 0 boundary, not because I'm trying to spend every last penny, because it helps me understand the outer limits of what my plan might support while still honoring my legacy objectives. Next, let's test the upper end first. We'll model spending $90,000 per year, and as we do that, watch how the plan changes. Look at the long-term impact on the plan. Next, let's test the other side. We'll lower spending to $60,000 per year. Notice how the plan becomes more resilient. Notice the additional flexibility. Notice the larger margin for error. This is one of the most important insights in retirement planning. The question isn't, what is the safe spending number? The better question is, what range works for me? Now let's put those guardrails into action. Instead of spending a fixed amount every year, imagine that spending can move within our guardrails. If markets are performing well and the plan remains strong, Maybe we're spending closer to the like to spend budget. We're traveling more, we're enjoying more experiences, we're living a little more lavishly. If conditions become more challenging, maybe we temporarily move closer to our must spend budget. We pull back a little, we become more intentional, we shift towards rice and beans mode. That flexibility is what reduces risk. Now, let's stress test the plan. Let's extend longevity. Notice what happens. The plan comes under more pressure, but because we've already established spending flexibility and because we understand our guardrails, we have options. The plan doesn't necessarily break, the plan adapts. And that's really the point. A successful retirement plan isn't built on perfect assumptions, it's built on flexibility. So today we've looked at fixed spending, we've looked at must spend and like to spend budgets, and we've looked at Bolden spending guardrails insight. We've looked at safe spending targets, and we've looked at max spending as a practical die with zero exploration tool. The shift is from precision to flexibility. And if there's one takeaway from today's discussion, it's this. Safe spending isn't one number, it's a range. And the more flexibility you build into your plan, the more options you're likely to have when life doesn't unfold exactly as expected. And that's one of the reasons I love using Bolden. It allows you to explore different possibilities, understand trade-offs, and see how seemingly small changes can affect your long-term plan. If you'd like to explore these scenarios for yourself, I've included my Bolden affiliate link in the description below. It's the same planning platform I use throughout these demonstrations. And if you're finding value in these conversations, I'd really appreciate it if you'd like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with somebody who's planning for retirement. I'll see you in the next video.